a little bit about songwriting, because it's something that I'm pretty gotten a lot of passion about, and people are still a little confused about, what is it and what's the importance of it. And I decided just to go through and talk about my experiences songwriting and what it did for me as a musician. So songwriting, and when people think of songwriting, they sort of think of, they just think of writing a song, like a pop song on the radio or something. And it's like, well, that can mean a lot of different things. It can be writing a classical song, composing, writing songs. It's the same darn thing. No matter if it's a piece or it's something that you sing or something, a song is a song. You're going to be, writing it. But most of the stuff I'm talking about really is, the stuff that you hear like on the radio. And they consist of two parts, the music and the lyrics. And then you have the producers who come in and add in all the extra fancy things on it and make it sound really, really nice. And songwriting consists of two things, music and lyrics. The main components. You really need the music and the lyrics. Now, some people can do both. Some people tend to be a little bit better at one versus the other. And you'll see writing teams like Elton John and Bernie, I want to say it's Taub. I can't remember his last name. But Elton John writes the music, he's the musician, and then Bernie writes the lyrics. And there's probably I'm sure there's some collaboration in there where, Bernie says, I'm listening, when I wrote this, I sort of heard this in my head. And then Elton John, because he's also the singer, will probably gives him some information about the lyrics, like that's a little hard to sing, that's a little wordy, those sorts of things. So if you do both, it's really nice because you can learn about both of those things. So if you aren't really a musician, you can work on the lyrics portion, but I do recommend that everybody learn a little bit of music theory in order to understand how music sounds and what it's supposed to sound like. And not the lyrics person has to be concerned more about the placement of words and things of that nature for the singer, and also how does it portray and all sorts of things. But so which one's the most important one? Is it the music or the lyrics? I remember reading an article by people who were songwriters, and they all said the same thing, which I totally agree with. And I'll give you a little bit of a hint of how to do it. So I'm going to say something to you. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can tell. Those of your needs that you want to show. Again, I'm going to say it again. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can tell. Those of your needs that you want to borrow. If you know the song, you'll know it. You go, oh, this is my favorite song. You'll say, oh, that's XYZ. If you don't know the song, I bet you know the song if I play the music. Let me see if I can remember what the first note is. Simple, lean on me. You recognize it mainly because of the music part. Unless you really know the song, you probably don't know it by the lyrics as well. And we all know this a lot of times when you're asking someone about a song and you start, it's that some song, and someone will say, sing it for me. Right? They don't say what's the lyrics or what's the words to it. Like they'll go and look up the words later on. But if you really want to know, boy, he wants to sing with me today, huh? You want to sing? No? You'll say, sing me the song. And then you'll go and you'll look at the lyrics or something like that, or hum me the song or something like that. So the music is really the more important part. So, why did I start? Or what was the challenges I was facing before I became a songwriter? The biggest challenge I was very much like, I'm a classically trained pianist. I played in the band, those sorts of things. I knew how to read music, but I didn't know how to improvise. I didn't know how to, I was so afraid because I didn't want to mess up. And as a classically trained pianist, you're taught to play the music as it is. Don't add in your own thing. Other stuff they tell you to, but classical music, you're not supposed to add stuff in. You're supposed to play it exactly the way it was. And one of the things that happened was I just got stuck, where I wasn't progressing musically as a musician. It was playing the same thing over and over again, practicing the same scales, and I just didn't seem to be moving further along as I'd like to. Another thing, I got bored. It was playing the same songs over and over again, and that's what pianists and stuff do. You play the same song over and over again until you get it right. And how did I get into it? Well, I was going to a rehearsal, and I had missed the memo, and it got canceled. And one other person that was in there was like, "Hey, why don't you, we could hang around for a little bit." And I said, he's a much better musician than I am. His name is John Scherer. And I said, "Can you teach me how to songwrite?" And he started to teach me some stuff, and I was hooked. And I have been hooked ever since. And I'll even, on GarageBand, I think that's what it is, on my iPad, I'll like fumble around with a little music and stuff like that. I'm hooked. I'm completely hooked. And how did it help me to grow to be a better musician? A couple things. One was I needed to learn a little more theory. I needed to expand more on what chords were, how did they sound, what was chord progressions. I didn't know what a darn chord progression was. Just general knowledge of music anyways. I felt I got better overall. I was able to play things on cue a lot faster. I was able to read music a lot faster, which is sort of weird, right? Because you're not reading any sort of music or anything like that. And then I felt much more confident in myself. I was terrified, even though I've been playing the piano for years and I knew songs by heart, I was terrified of sitting in front of a piano without music anywhere. And then when I started to songwrite, I was able just to sit down and say, "Oh, here's the piano. I'm going to start playing on it and start diddling around on it." So if you are interested in getting there, I really suggest you start by thinking about taking some songwriting lessons. If you're stuck and you are just interested in doing something a little bit different, then really consider taking some songwriting lessons. I do offer songwriting lessons, and I'll show you in the next video that I'm going to do just some different things of how you can go about getting started for free. So just to see if this might be something that you're interested in. All right, thanks.